this year, this year is gonna be jam packed with so many returns of legends, from legends of light novels, from video games, even from old style anime. Man, everything's coming back. Bleach with its new arc, One Piece with its new season, Black Clover, and now we even have freaking Dragon Ball coming back. After Dragon Ball Superhero, and then after the manga closed down, that was it for Dragon Ball. We had nothing else for Dragon Ball to really look forward to unless you were on those games. But it seems like things are coming back towards the end of the year, near the end of the year, and that is Dragon Ball Super, baby. So during this anniversary, it showed off a quite good few amount of content for us to consume, and one of it is Return of Dragon Ball Super. One thing people really wanted for those who were reading the manga was to have them continue Dragon Ball Super, both the Miro arc and then this other arcs with Salad, I think that was his name, where someone used a Dragon Ball to wish to be the strongest in the freaking universe and stuff like that. And then it showed like some origin lore of Bardock and what he was up to on some of his missions. And of course, the controversial Black Frieza. A lot of people want to see that animated. So, but things have been quiet, especially after Toriyama's death and everything. Everything's been quiet. So with that, after this anniversary, people were expecting some big news. And oh boy, we got some big news. First of all, we're getting a remake of the Beerus arc. So people question, why should we get a remake of the Beerus arc? We already have the amazing Dragon Ball Battle of the Gods movie, which was freaking amazing. But then they put the Battle of Gods movie into Super, which a lot of people were saying was disappointing with some terrible, and I mean terrible, animation. So people say, why this arc and why only this arc? And it's going to be 6 episodes. People believe this is because they're trying to fit Daima into it. That's the only reason why. In order to continue on, they need to find a way to put Daima's canon into this story of Dragon Ball Super, which a lot of people argued it makes no sense for Daima not to be canon, not to talk about anything of Super Saiyan 4 or going to the other series. It felt like a Dragon Ball movie back in the day where the movies weren't really canon. So the movies now are canon, but the movies back then were never canon because they never mentioned the characters or anything like that. So people are like, well, what about Lord Garlic? Well, Lord Garlic Jr. was actually filler too, because in Dead Zone, it was, like I said, it was a non-canon movie, and then he came back from the Dead Zone, but this time it was still filler. Interesting filler, but it was still filler. Because it wasn't in Dragon Ball Z Kai, or was it in the manga. So these were all canon villains. So what they're doing here is to get Daima make sense into the universe. I'm guessing when Beerus fights Goku and stuff, Goku will try to go 4, but he can't go 4. Or if Vegeta gets angry at Beerus, he's going to try some semblance of Super Saiyan 3 and stuff like that. That would be very interesting to see. That's some things I've been hearing online and also in other YouTube videos. I do look forward to that, seeing Vegeta go Super Saiyan 3. I remember a long time ago when I was a kid, I'm like, I wonder how Raditz looked like with Super Saiyan 3. Raditz already had Super Saiyan 3 hair. So if he just went Super Saiyan 1, he would just look Super Saiyan 3. So if he went Super Saiyan 3, his hair will probably be even longer than it already is. Like, Jesus. That's nuts. But we have always wanted to see Vegeta in Super Saiyan 3, see him finally reach that thing outside of Super Saiyan 2. So we finally got to see that, which was nice. But to see Goku again in Super Saiyan 4 was always a treat. Because in my opinion, the Super Saiyan 4 route was a lot more interesting than the Super Saiyan God form. Because it felt like it was more to the origins of the great apes that the Saiyans will turn into. So it's showing that you have full control over the great ape as you go Super Saiyan 4, which is you becoming Super Saiyan while you're in great ape form. So in my opinion, that was always the better Super Saiyan in my final thoughts. The final form of Super Saiyan was Super Saiyan 4, mastering the great ape form. Always genius. So now that's fully canon for the GT series. It is good. Now it means what they're going to do with GT. I'm just saying, what are you going to do with GT now? Now that GT, like, you're aware of the Super Saiyan form. So GT, if they ever do it, it has to be rewritten as well. So there we go with that. But I'm okay. There's a lot of things I like about GT compared to other people think. I did enjoy GT and some of those things. I didn't enjoy Goku being a kid again. It felt like it was just an excuse to give him a big handicap because he should be kicking everyone's butt. But that's a whatever. Now we're also getting a continuation, like I said, of the anime as well after the Beerus arc, which is going to be in fights when it comes to the Galactic Patrol arc, where you're pretty much fighting off against a lot of people's favorite new super villain, which is Miro, And some say he is the Galactus to the Dragon Ball Z world, an eater of planets. One of the things that the Kais back then in the day had to deal with. A guy who finally escapes and he becomes stronger and stronger as time goes on. And you can see a lot of cool fights, and even other Z members get in all the action too, help defending Earth from these escaped convicts. So yeah, it's good action pack all around goodness, and even connects to GT as well towards the end, which is good. So yeah, I'm glad Super is coming back. And of course, they show some secret for some new gameplay with some white-haired guy fighting up some bad guys, and then this white-haired guy goes Super Saiyan. So I'm guessing this is, some say it might be Xenoverse, others saying it might be part of the Dragon Ball Heroes story. I wouldn't know because I'm not into those things. I'm not that deep into the alternate timeline Dragon Ball lore like most people are. So it will be crazy if that is the case. But anyways, what I'm also looking forward to is more Dragon Ball games, and hopefully, maybe, sometime, they'll continue on with the manga. Because between you and me, that's where I really enjoyed Dragon Ball Super, was reading the manga. The manga was more of a, not no filler filled, things didn't over exaggerate or take too long. It was to the point for me, when it came to the Universal Tournament arc, or fighting against Frieza, or even when they adapted the superhero arc, it was more to the point. None of the BS that you'll be used to seeing in the anime. They did skip the Brawly arc, however, in the manga. They did do that. There's no Brawly arc in the manga, which was very disappointing. But hey, it would be nice to have a Brawly arc in the manga. But either way, I'm excited for this. 2026 is going to be jam-packed with a lot of comebacks. A lot of old school, millennial anime that we grew up with. Well, I guess Dragon Ball technically isn't millennial anime. I think it's been out for years. But still, it's stuff we grew up with. It's all coming back. The big three is there, along with some other big hitters as well. So a lot of things. Sakamoto Days is coming back as well. Mission Yakuza Family, Undead Unluck, Mushoku Tensei, Re:Zero, Tanya the Evil. We're being fed well this year of anime. 2026 is going to be explosive of so much things to return. Now, some people wish, with their fingers crossed, they wish that they would get finally a season 2 to No Game, No Life. Yes, people are still wishing for that, but hey, who knows? It could happen. It could happen in this day and age. You never know what can happen now. But anyways, I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited too. Let me know what piece of Dragon Ball media you're excited for in the comments below. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and of course, hit that bell icon. This has been Madcrownxox. I'm Anime. Signing out.